How can we be better mothers to boys? My mom always told me to never fight, that it's better to walk away. I was bullied for years and didn't know how to defend or stand up myself. I wish I had learned more about self-confidence. I had a great dad who taught me to stand up for myself. But in a very practical sense, I played a lot of tough guy contact sports, but never learned to fight. Once I started boxing and got hit in the face and realized how vulnerable I was and how I was willing to become less vulnerable, it really changed my perspective and I became more confident toward bully behavior. I will definitely put my children into martial arts when I have kids. Find ways to introduce them to girls their age in casual situations. I grew up with 2 brothers. All my friends were boys. Girls were basically some other species. Same. 3 brothers, no sisters, or female cousins. Way behind the power curve. Compliment their achievements sincerely, and teach them to compliment their own achievements too. Let them know that it's okay to not have validation all of the time from other people, as long as they appreciate themselves. Compliments and validation come rarely, in my opinion, especially to men. I 100% agree. I honestly never saw it before joining this page, but now it's embarrassingly obvious. Thanks for responding. You're a kind person. Don't prevent them from doing risky physical activities like climbing trees and skateboarding. They don't grow and expand if they can't stretch their horizons. I know you will be scared they will hurt themselves, and they will hurt themselves, but it's the only way for them to develop true confidence instead of false confidence. Also, be honest to them about women. Don't try to sugarcoat things. Also, never lie to them. Yes, this is super hard for me. It's hard not to project my anxiety onto him, especially because some boys are so much more physical. I'm like, I would break my arm and he just bounces around like rubber. Don't do everything for us. My mom was a great mom, but she always did New York laundry, packed my lunch, did most of the cleanup after a meal. By doing so many things for me, I never learned to do them for myself, and it set me up for failure when I moved out. This is so utterly me, it hurts. I love my parents beyond words, but they unintentionally set me up for life full of domestic disaster. Teach them about abuse. Men get raped by women. As a kid, men get abused verbally, emotionally, sexually, and financially. Men get sexual advances by bosses. As a teen, men are told constantly that they are the abusers. Because of this, they are never taught the skills to see abuse for what it is, or the proper avenues to take action. We need to teach boys and men that being abused is possible and never okay, no matter what gender. Knock before you enter his room. Noted. Lol. Listen to them. Be open and be someone they want to come to discuss what's going on with their lives. That's not what boys do, or man up is a surefire way to get them to alienate you and end up with a lad who only spends his time in his room. Well, you created that. Where else is he meant to feel safe? They're human. They have feelings, and if you keep up the narrative that boys are only after one thing, then that's what you've trained them to do. Who cares if he plays with dolls when he's younger? It's just play and imagination, and possibly training him to be an attentive father eventually. Otherwise it's just play. Doesn't mean anything. Privacy. Give them the room and privacy as much as possible. We have a part of our body that changes when we don't expect it nor want it to. It's embarrassing, and instead of it being explained, we are shushed for it. How else are we expected to learn about our own body than by experimenting and discovering on our own? If your kid is having wet dreams you discover when you change the sheets or do the laundry, don't bring it up. Just wash it. It's normal. It's healthy, and if you're too embarrassed to have a talk, then that's your problem and just setting up for failure. It's 2023. There's no such thing as boys' chores or girls' chores. Putting the bins out, mowing the lawn, etc. Split up the chores equally and rotate. He may be the next Gordon Ramsay. If he wants to help out in the kitchen, let him. What I'm coming down to is, as a parent, it's your responsibility to pick up on what they like to do and let them explore that. Goes for daughters too. Don't sign your boy up for all sorts of extracurricular activities that you think he should be doing. Let him choose what he wants to do. Giving your child a sense of self is the best way to let them develop. I think the biggest thing is that girls seem to have a level of perceived preciousness, at least in childhood, that boys do not. Even though boy babies and children, really up into puberty, have no better way of defending themselves or navigating the world than girls do, we ascribe a level of stoic independence to anybody born male from birth that does not really make much sense. When your kid, whatever your gender is, takes a backseat to the simple fact that you're learning how to human. Letting boys be kids too, and seeing them as precious too, I think, would solve a lot of problems. Think through how to help them process their emotions. When a young girl is going through something, they often cry. Parents hug them, talk through the problem, provide practical support, etc. As such, young girls are taught how to deal with their emotions and seek support. When a young boy is going through something, they often shout, hit things, etc. Parents tell them to stop and go to their room. As such, young boys have their emotions suppressed and never learn how to deal with things in a healthy manner. Supporting young boys involves acknowledging anger as legitimate. It involves understanding what they need support-wise. That might be an outlet, say a hobby, boxing, gym, music, gaming, etc. Close bracket. It might be space and privacy, or it might just be allowing them to vent in an angry way without being judged or told to express themselves in a more gentle tone. I think with both genders, parents need to validate their kids' emotions. Tell them they are entitled to feel them, including anger, but importantly also tell them that the way they feel inside is not an excuse to hurt people / damage things / lie / scream at people / etc. If you are his only example of woman, that will be a problem. The way we tend to separate boys and girls before they reach puberty means that soon enough women start looking like something between objects of desire and intelligent aliens, as opposed to humans with the same needs, fears, abilities and rights. If he doesn't have sisters, or even if he does, make sure that there are girls his age around, and not just in school. He needs to grow up and to socialize with girls and women around. He does have 2 older sisters. This is honestly not something I would have ever thought about. I appreciate your perspective. Don't tell 6-year-old boys to man up. Never. Ask him daily how his day went. Listen to them. We boys have only our mother with whom we can share our feelings, cry, etc. She is only one in our life with whom we can be yourself, and we know that she will never judge us or leave us. Teach him how to behave with women, periods, etc. Most important thing that my mom did during my growing up period is to build a habit in me to share my feelings with her. Talk with her daily, and my said it is the best thing she did, as she was able to find what was disturbing me and then was able to help me. You are making me tear up. What a privilege we get to be that for someone. Thank you for sharing. Welcome. And another thing, hug us daily. We crave for hugs. We didn't get any hugs for years, so a hug from mom is a blessing and so peaceful. Always remember that you're raising a boy, not a defective girl. Boys do certain things and behave in certain ways. It's not your job to change his nature. It's your job to raise him to be a good man. I think this is hard for some women because we are only taught and shown what boys shouldn't be. Thankfully, I have an amazing husband who can definitely help me identify these traits, but I can see how being a single mother to a boy causes some big gaps. Thanks for the advice. Allow them to make mistakes, even costly ones. What they learn from recovering from failure is far more important than protecting them from failure. Why is this so hard? Thanks for the reminder. Make sure they have some sort of positive male influence in their life. Someone they can go to for advice, whether it be a father, grandfather, uncle, one of your adult friends etc. Very lucky to have an amazing husband and family. Thank you for sharing. Just speaking from my situation, I'm 57 and still have issues from the way my mother raised me. She was constantly worried I would do something wrong and mess up my life. The problem is her definition of right was impossible to live up to. No sex, no booze, no drugs, no jerking off, no porn, no I wish instead she would have taught me the tools to deal with setbacks in life and also encouraged me to enjoy life, enjoy the good in the world, and experience all life has to offer. Guide me but trust my judgment instead of judging me. I wish instead she would have taught me the tools. This is how I view parenting. Our job is to give our kids the tools to handle their life, the ups and the downs. When they run into a situation, they should be able to look into that toolbox and already have what they need because we prepared them for it. Mothers are the only women who can be honest to a boy about how to interact with girls and women. They cannot be afraid to give boys advice that might cast women in a negative light. Get men in his life. Let him fall down and get hurt. Literally and figuratively. Get him into jiu-jitsu so he can be strong and train to defend the weak while getting out some aggression. I'm lucky that my husband, his dad, are still together and very much in love. The aggression things has come up a few times and definitely something that wasn't really on my radar. It seems boys are bullied a lot more than girls. Thanks for the reply. My dad taught me to always defend myself. After having my nose broken several times, I learned to pick my battles. Teaching someone to defend themselves and how to defend themselves are different. Both are important because either without the other does more harm than doing neither. I think the best advice I can give you is raise them the way people today are told to raise their daughters. Encourage his interest regardless of how they are traditionally gendered. Teach him to stand up for himself, but know when to walk away. Emphasize that he can be anything he wants, but that it takes a lot of hard work to get there. When he gets older, teach him that a relationship is a partnership, with terms and boundaries, to be negotiated with both parties, not a set of defined roles and behaviors. Never use "told you so" or any type of demeaning talk after your child comes forward with something he has done. This will push your child away from you and make him not share anything with you. I would recommend reading the book The Myth of Male Power written by Warren Farrell. You can read it for free on archive.org without the space between. Org. He served on the board of the National Organization of Women, NOW, and advocated for women's rights during the 1960s. It was around that time he started to notice the beginning of the problems facing men. He spoke about them, but they were largely ignored and have now festered into the problems we see today. He has written many books on the subject, and he is a veritable wealth of knowledge. Awesome. Will definitely check it you. Thanks for the reply. You are doing amazing. The kind of person who is looking around for advice on how to do better is the kind of mom we all need/needed. We faceless, numberless entities of the internet could spout out millions of things. But please, just take a minute and appreciate yourself and all you do. I really appreciate that. Just love my little guy so much, just want to be the best I can for him. He's only 3 right now, lol. My mom had a type 4 men she chose to date. I was abused in some way by every one of them. I found a way to move to my father's after he found out about a particular incident and tried to hurt my mother's husband. The act of defending me made me realize my dad had more courage than my mother. She needed a man to help financially, but allowed them to do things that were not appropriate because of her needs. My dad was flat broke, but he never allowed me to be abused. Be courageous in the decisions you make when bringing in other men and set hard boundaries for your relationships that define your priorities to your son. He'll grow up looking for relationships with similar characteristics as his mother, and you'll want to provide him with the right ones.